1032. It ain't out. It ain't out. I'm sorry, y'all. It ain't out. We're on break. And you know, I did not know that we were about to be on break. I promise you. I thought that we were going to have a chapter. I didn't see anything until I think the beginning of the week. It was like, yeah, no chapters. Like, wait, what? So, you know, I even promised that the live reactions were coming back this week. Ain't nothing to live react to. I mean, there is, but ain't nothing One Piece to live react to. Anyway, per usual, it's chapter day. No chapter. So we're going to talk about One Piece chapter 1032 and what we would like to happen, what we think is going to happen in a new chapter. So y'all know how we do it. We start with some recap in regards to things that happened, because I'm not sure about y'all, but from time to time when there's no chapter, I feel like the previous chapter and everything that happened just goes away. I'm like, bro, wait, what happened in the last chapter? And then don't even ask me about the chapters before that. I gotta go back and read these chapters before I talk about them, because it's just like, hold on. So we got X Drake, we got a Pooh, Raizo and Fukuroku. Why the hell is that still going on? You know what? Let me ask y'all, because we got some big brain people here. What's the furthest chapter back? You know, other than the classic chapters, I'm talking about some of the recent chapters where you can think back and think about every single thing that happened in a chapter. Where, for instance, One Piece chapter 1028. Do you remember every single thing that happened in a chapter? I'll give you a hint. At the end of that chapter, that's Wobbly Leg Sanji. But I guess it's time to set the stage. In One Piece right now, just refresh y'all in regards to what's going on. We got the fire thing that was created by Kandro. We assume Kandro is dead, and that was the result of him dying, and is creating this fire slimy that's a ticking time bomb. Then we have a literal ticking time bomb. Onigashima about to fall, and Yamato going after the bombs and all the artillery for Kaido that he got stored in the basement. So we got that. We also got Momonosuke trying to stop Onigashima. Again, Yamato is going towards the basement. Orochi's trying to wreak havoc. CP0 is going after Robin. Luffy's fighting Kaido. Sanji's fighting Queen. Zoro's fighting King. Raizo is fighting Fukurokuju. Kinemon is back alive. Apu is fighting X Drake. Killer just bodied Hawkins. Paris is down. Jack is down. Big Mom is fighting Law and Kid. There are other things going on, like Marco vibing, but for the most part, those are the main things that's going on. Like, I know on the main floor, it's a lot happening there because they're still trying to hold back the forces because the numbers game still isn't in their favor, but those are the main things. So now we left off with Kid and Law versus Big Mom. So let's start there. They're not holding back no more, okay? They say they're about to go all out, which in actuality, I don't know what that really means. For Kid and Law, I thought that they would have gone all out by now, but apparently they got more they can go. Of course, it's probably to the risk of their own life. But for those two, I'm seeing more and more complaints about how they shouldn't hang, how Big Mom should be on a completely different level. And again, I'm not arguing against you guys with that. I get it. But look at the story you're reading. The characters, it's going to be power creep. I talked to y'all about this months ago. It's going to be power creep. We're going to be looking at characters like, where did this come from? And these characters, most of these characters we haven't been following for a long time, or we just haven't followed them enough. Like, they've been missing MIA and Wano. So many things could have transpired. So that's why I have a problem. Okay, this is something that I talked about years ago, right? Years ago, where I expected Kid to be awakened and Law, because they went into the new world and they didn't have the opportunity to take 2 years off and train, right? So for Luffy, the specific training was mostly hockey, and the hockey training then obviously bled into his devil fruit and getting better with different forms and shit like that. But for the most part, he was training hockey. But Kid, going into the new world, getting bodied by all these different Yonko, all these different people, he was forced to use his devil fruit a lot. So I always expected Kid to be awakened, but it seems like where he is right now, it's pretty much like he's at the beginning stages of awakening. Now, plan on talking about awakening more in depth, because I think it's an interesting concept, and I think conceptually Oda's at a point where he's explaining it without explaining it. Because one thing that's clear, for the most part, it doesn't seem like to be a one-size-fits-all, especially for Paramecia. Because Doflamingo, at some point I found this chart where people separated devil fruits, specifically Paramecia devil fruits, into different sections, right? Where you have producers like Doflamingo, transformers like Baby 5. And the thing is, I think within these subsets of Paramecia, like for Luffy, he's always rubber. Someone like Dofi that produces string, Magellan produces poison. The awakenings are going to vary based on the character. Like for Kid, he's not even producing metal. He's controlling metal. For Law, that's a completely different subset. That's a special subset. So when I think about Paramecia awakenings in particular, I think they're going to vary. It's not going to be just like where we saw Katakuri, because he's a producer, right? He's a Paramecia, but he's a producer where he produces mochi. So for him, it's going to be more of it. Like Doflamingo, he produces string. It's going to be more string. For Kid, he's controlling metal, so it can't be more metal. It's a way to augment or transform the metal. You know what I'm saying? For Law, it's different because he's doing everything. the more I think about Law's awakening is the more I view it as Law being able to use his room within Big Mom, right? It's a weird concept, but I think as it gets fleshed out, we'll understand it better. But awakening, even for Big Mom, Oda could touch on it. And I know we've been talking about Kaido's awakening, saying that, you know, he's already in an awakened zone and we have expectations for awakened zones. But what about awakened mythical zones? Is it a different level? I mean, they're mythical zones for a reason. They have different abilities, extra abilities. Shouldn't the awakening be a bit different other than durability and just endurance, right? That's how I'm thinking about it. And so the Paramecia Devil Fruits, like the spectrum is so wild because Big Mom, she has a soul fruit and she can do so many different abilities. So how do you even try to classify or pinpoint what her awakening could be? But expect an awakening video really soon, I promise. How that fight is gonna go, I saw people complaining about something and I was blown away because to me, it's why. They were saying Luffy should be the one to take down all the Yonko and that Kid and Law specifically for those characters, they shouldn't have that opportunity because it's Luffy's story. And I couldn't disagree more. I've always been one about competition and about rivalry, right? Because I think that pushes you. It makes the journey feel real, fulfilling. If you're just running through the competition and you're basically accomplishing everything you set out to do, it doesn't feel real because that's not realistic. You can make goals. You can have all these different things you want to accomplish. You're not going to accomplish every single thing. That's just not how it works. You're going to have wins. You're going to have losses. I don't want to downplay it because Luffy has definitely had some losses. But I think in regards to the grand scale, the grand scheme of things, even taking down all the Yonko, it shouldn't just be him. In this situation, Kid and Law makes the most sense because they're next up. They're part of the next generation. They're part of the worst generation. So it can't be just Luffy. I know Blackbeard is a part of it, but adding more individuals into the pot that can possibly compete, I'm here for it. I used to think Big Mom gets taken out by BS. And part of me still thinks that. I'm not gonna lie to you. However, it'd be so much more satisfying if Kid and Law, or maybe one of them, does it. I think it makes more sense for both of them because Oda, I think he set it up perfectly, in my opinion, right? Kaido's been beat up, like attacked a lot, especially Roof Piece. Kaido was getting the brunt of the damage. Big Mom, she's relatively fresh. She's taking on 2 Supernova while Kaido's taking on 1, but should be way more damaged than Big Mom. You know what I'm saying? So he's balancing it out to the point that it makes sense. And again, I don't think Oda as a writer, as an author, prioritizes power scaling at all, but he cares enough to give Sanji the boost that he's getting. Crazy boost. Zoro the boost that he's getting. Crazy boost. Luffy, the multiple jumps he's getting. So where he's like, okay, power scaling ain't at the forefront of my mind when I'm writing. I'm trying to write a cohesive story, a funny story, interesting story first, but power scaling and story balance, story continuity, because that's what power scaling is, the continuity of the story, it matters to him. So he's like, you know what? I feel like the Straw Hats, they're probably not on the level of some of these characters that I've introduced. Let me give them some power-ups because it's necessary, and he knows that it's necessary. So I understand power scaling can get toxic. It can. And, you know, honestly, one of the reasons why I've kind of shied away from it as much, especially in a public forum, but it's necessary. You don't want power scaling to be all over the place because tension is a part of power scaling. Power scaling plays into tension. And again, continuity is a big deal. You can't introduce this character that's supposed to be hyped up as this big threat, and then he gets overwhelmed by Brook. Not to take a shot at Brook, because I love Brook. I'm just saying. It's just something to keep in mind when you think about power scaling. You can have very, very calm, level-headed conversations about power scaling. It doesn't always have to be toxic. Unfortunately, on the internet, that's where it goes. So now off Big Mom versus Kid and Law, because I think we may touch on that, may see a glimpse of Big Mom's awakening. Even though Oda hasn't said that's what it is, I believe that's what it is. I think Oda's favorite fight in the entire story right now, Raizo versus Fukuroku. Why is it still going on? You gotta wrap it up. It's time. Wrap it up. Wrap it up, Dean. I've learned the story of One Piece. It's probably easier to not question some of these decisions because you end up looking foolish because you're like, oh, that's why. So I believe there's some significance behind this. We just don't understand it yet. I've talked about this ad nauseum about idealistically what it means. So we're not going to harp on that. It's so weird seeing just all the different fights that's left to go on or left to be wrapped up, and Raizo versus Fukuroku is in the middle. End it. I don't know if I'm most interested in, but I think could have the biggest effect on the arc. CP0. We have no idea what their strength is. We have no idea what their abilities are. I mean, more than likely it's, you know, Soru and all the Rokushiki techniques, but there got to be something else to it. I'm scared. I really hope Oda delivers with this. Not a fake kidnapping. I want it to be something of significance. Now, not Nico Robin's death, which that's the death that would be the most shocking from the standpoint of endgame. Because for a lot of us, we always thought nothing can happen without Nico Robin because she knows everything. And if you destroy the information hub, the person that can translate all this information, the information remains a secret. Well, the world government is telling me some things. As much as they say, yo, Nico Robin, she's a problem, her existence, they want to capture her. It should be to kill Robin on sight. That should be the perspective of the world government, because her existence, it's damning. It's basically a counter to everything they've accomplished, because she can bring it all to the ground, which we have no idea exactly what all they're hiding. I'm sure it's going to be crazy revelations that shakes the world more than Whitebeard did, which is insane, but that's exactly what they're trying to hide. So CP0, man, I'm really scared for Robin. I mean, a lot of us, we enjoyed Enies Lobby and Water 7, and CP9, they were the main antagonists of that arc. So for CP0, I have not high expectations in regards to personality, etc., but high expectations in regards to abilities and threat level. These people are the elite of the elite. Show me how elite you are. The strides get captured all the time, right? But it doesn't really go anywhere. I hope this goes somewhere. If it's a situation where CP0 leaves Wano or Nigashima with Robin, I don't know what to tell y'all, man, because at that point, I would probably foresee Blackbeard attacking CP0 and getting Nico Robin. I guess last but not least, let's talk about Luffy versus Kaido. It's happening. Luffy's currently fighting Kaido right now. Right now, as we sit and we just watching this video, they fighting, they throwing hands. Luffy's gonna awaken this arc. Or Oda is going to specifically say Luffy's awakened. And I think it's gonna be mostly what we expected, where it's like perfecting Gear 4. There's no way Gear 4 is an awakening. I think just the incredibly creative use of it, the stamina draining for Gear 2 initially, the hockey draining, I think all that is a part of his awakening. So once he completes it, he's going to be on a completely different level, and I can't wait to see that. Now, Sanji, what does Oda do with him? I talked about CP0 having the biggest impact, but I think personally Sanji and what he does will have the greatest impact on me. I'm invested. I want to know how he gets through this. How does he deal with this? I mean, he said he can take out Queen pretty easily. I mean, I don't know. He destroyed the raid suit. I'm not sure if it's really gone. I mean, I kind of hope it is, because I wasn't the biggest fan. He's augmented. He's on a completely different level now. What do I want? Well, I want to know exactly if he hit that woman, because personally, I don't think he did. It's just not within him. But also, I want some more character moments. I want him to keep growing as a character. I want to, when people think of Sanji, they think of course, you think of the gags and how some of it can be just annoying, but I want you to think of Oda writing one of the best characters in One Piece. I'm sure people are already there, but I'm talking about just consensus overall, where Sanji's a top 3 character. We're not there yet, but we can get there. Like we all see the potential of what Oda could do here. And I'm like, bro, it can get there. It can get there. I mean, I always loved Sanji, but I think, again, Whole Cake Island deep in my love for the character. But Wano, it's adding some more characterization to what we previously knew. I mean, and then Sanji, again, you relate to the struggle, the back and forth, the human moments. How is he becoming less human, but for me becoming more relatable? Reaching out to Zoro saying, hey, if I lose myself, strike me down. Compassion, selflessness, care. I mean, he's always had those things. Like, if somebody's about to be hurt, you expect Sanji to show up. He's the white knight. Now he's white hot, so we gonna see what he gonna do, but play bars and play girls. Let me know what you think is gonna happen. One Piece chapter 1032 should be coming next week. I can't wait, but give me your thoughts. How do you feel about Sanji? How do you feel about Raizo versus Fukurokuju? I still can't believe that's still going on. And just your expectations for the chapter. But guys, give me thoughts. Make sure to like the video if you did. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at BragoDAce. Follow me on Instagram at BragoD.Ace. Thank you to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Again, guys, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
I start doubting me, I felt lost. I rewrite it.